Okay, so first laying down some simple foundational systems that can be applied to any given word list. I've chosen to demonstrate for you now the second level of the PDF that you should have downloaded and printed out. So please have to hand the printed out copy of Spellings Level 2. And what this is, it's just a word list that you are going to be working through with your child. First, work through Level 1. They are words that tend to be used a lot in children's writing when they're responding to questions. It's been designed that way. It's more beneficial for your child to learn words that they are going to use frequently, which is why I recommend these two word lists to start off with. But for level 2, which is this one here, just going to show you how you can take some words and practice them frequently with your child. Now, some parents might want to just work systematically from April, August, above, across, almost, along, and so on. I wouldn't suggest that just for the first few sessions with your child. I would suggest that you pick shorter words and no more than 5. If you are going to be practicing with your child every day, make sure it's quite a small amount of words that they are practicing so that they can retain the information a lot more easier. If you find that your child, it needs a bit more challenge, then certainly increase the amount of words. But to begin with, I would suggest 5 words every day. If not every day, at least every other day. Now, looking at this list, I can see quite a few 4-letter words that I'm going to choose. So 3 or 4-letter words that I'm going to begin with. So I'm going to try buy, blue, bat, bend, and another B word. I'm going to choose both. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're quite short words. They all begin with B. They're going to be my first list. That's going to be my first list that I'm going to work with my child for the first day. It's manageable for your child. So give those words to your child on a piece of paper. Just a small piece of paper will do. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to just write them here for you. So there's buy, blue, both, bat, and bend. So you can put that on a small piece of paper, let your child study it, and then tell them that they have to be prepared for a little spelling test that's going to be tomorrow. And the reason why I encourage you to do it daily is to encourage your child to get used to the idea of retaining words and how to spell them really, really quickly and really, really regularly. When it comes to spelling, the more practice, the better. And some schools, they only give weekly spellings. Most schools only give weekly spellings. And that's great. And I suggest that you have to work with that. You do have to, these spellings are alongside the spellings that you have to do alongside your teacher's given words. But to challenge your child even more and to make sure that they are practicing those skills of retaining information about the spelling of a given word and then getting tested on it immediately, I would suggest that you do this system. So buy, blue, both, bat, bend. Use the look, cover, write, check method. I'm not sure if all of you who are watching this right now are familiar with that strategy, but it's one that many schools use and many schools teach your child But I am very aware that a lot of the schools do not communicate this over to the parents. So I'm just going to explain it for you here now. What that means is you look at a word and you cover the word. So your child will look carefully at that word. So, okay, B-U-Y, B-U-Y, B-U-Y. They'll cover the word, then they will write it on another separate piece of paper or perhaps on the same piece of paper next to it. Then they will uncover it, check, yay, give them a little clap if they got it right, and then give yourself a little tick. Then you look at the next word, blue, look at it, study it. Let them, your child will have their own little approach of how they're going to memorize the way to spell that. Some might be looking at digraphs and special friends, but what they'll do is they're going to lock it into their brain, then they're going to cover it, blue, check. Oh, you got that right. Well done. Give yourself a little tick. Let them have the control of ticking afterwards because they feel empowered when they do that. I would suggest that you really praise them when they get it right. If they didn't quite get it right, so for example, if they try to spell the word blue and they've covered it and they've put this, for example, and you unlock it and they say, oh, I've missed my U. Then you praise them for what they did right. Be really specific. Say, you've got the first sound right and you've got the last sound. You've got the last word right as well. You're just missing one letter. Well done, well done. Maybe next time. At this stage, you do want them to correct it right there and then so that they have a go at practicing it the correct way. So if they were writing on a piece of paper, just tell them to put a strike through their one and to write it correctly. Then you look at the next word and so on. Cover it, write it, check, and tick, and keep going throughout the whole list. I would suggest that you tell your child that they should practice these 5 words at least 3 times. Not all at the same time. So they might work through these 5 words, look, cover, write, check. After another hour, they might go back to the 5 words, look, cover, write, check. And then possibly again for the final time that day, if they have time. And then they should be confident by the next day that they have got those 5 words correct. After that, you move on to the next 5 words. So supposing that your child got all of those 5 right, use your system of rewards with them. You might want to give them a treat. You might want to let them play on on a certain game, or they might have some special types of rewards that's specific to your family. But then you're going to move on to your next 5 words. So highlight off what they already got correct. If they didn't get a word correct, then you leave it unhighlighted so that you know to return back to that word. I would suggest that you put that word back into their next list so that because they've already been exposed to that word, there's a chance that they'll be able to get it correct the following day. But one simple way is just highlight it off, choose your next 5 words. So I might choose ball, baby. I now want to move on to some of the C words. So I might put can't, come, and coming. So I will work on those and then highlight that off the next day once they've got those correct and then move on. So I hope that makes sense for you. And that is one example of how you can use a foundational system and apply it to any given word list.